Hey there, Algebra 2. Today we are going to look at long division again today, dividing a quadratic into a polynomial, and then we're going to head back to delta math. And the next step we're taking today is the polynomials that we're dividing are going to possibly have remainders. So we're going to get into what delta math calls level 3 polynomials, and level 3 long division problems have the possibility of getting remainders. So we're going to head over there and practice a problem as well over there. We'll start by writing out our problem, and one little thing to note is that I do have a binomial here, x squared plus 3, but I go from an x squared right to a constant. I do need to add in, anytime I'm missing a term, I'm going to add in a 0x. So I'm going to put a 0x in there just to account for that x term that's going to be there. But you can pause the video here, and we're going to start to write out our long division. All right, so again, you can pause the video right here now that we have everything set up, but there's my divisor and then my dividend underneath the house. So we're sticking to our same plan as yesterday. We're trying to get this first term. We're not worried about anything else in our divisor, just trying to get this first term to match 4x to the fourth. Since it's just a plain x squared, I would multiply by 4, and then if I multiply a 4x squared, that would make x squared times x squared x to the fourth. So I'm going to have a 4x to the fourth. That would get it exactly matched up. Now we're going to continue to distribute this 4x squared. So when I multiply it by 0, that's just going to be 0. So that would be the 0 and the x cubed. And then 4 times 3 is going to be a plus 12x squared. You're going to see that as you start to distribute and line up all of your terms, they're going to go right into the columns that represent like terms. So all we just have to go ahead and subtract everything. And 4 minus 4 is 0. 8 minus 0 is going to be 8x cubed. Then I got negative 55 minus 12. Well, if I'm at negative 55 and I subtract 12 more, that's going to bring me down to negative 67x squared. And then I have this plus 24x coming down. So anytime I do a cycle, I bring down the next possible term, and there now I have my next part set up. Here we're going to try to get x squared to equal 8x to the third, so that's going to be a plus 8x. And distribute that 8x to each term, that's going to be 8x to the third. 0x squared and plus 24x. Go ahead, put parentheses around it, do our subtraction. So I'm going to have 8 minus 8, 0. Negative 67 minus a negative 0, that's just going to be a negative 67x squared. And then 24 minus 24 is going to be 0. And then we'd bring down our next term, which is a constant, which it's not there, but there could be a plus 0 there. And lastly, now we're trying to get x squared to get to negative 67x squared, so I would put a negative 67x squared. Distribute that out, we're going to get negative 67x squared plus 0x, because there is no scratch this x squared up here, sorry about that. That would just be a negative 67, because when you multiply negative 67 times x squared, that would just be negative 67x squared plus 0x. And then negative 67 times 3 is going to be negative 201. Okay, and then we do our subtracting. So negative 67s cancel. 0 minus 0 is 0, and then 0 minus a negative 201 is going to be actually a positive 201. So we'd have 4x squared plus 8x minus 67 plus 201 over our divisor, x squared plus 3. And today that's what we'll start seeing. We'll start seeing that remainder popping in. So we just take our remainder and we put it up over our divisor. So there's how we would do a division with an x squared. In delta math, we are not going to have any of these. We'll have them very similar to what we did yesterday, except now we're going to start to see remainders. So let's head to delta math and practice one that we'll see on our assignment. So here we are again. We've got a binomial, and remember just to worry about this 4x. So we're always trying to multiply 4x to match and cancel out this first term. So in order to get to 8x cubed, I'm going to multiply by a 2x squared because 2 times 4 is 8. And then x squared times x is x to the third. Then I'll distribute. 2 times 5 is 10, and then the x squared comes along, so that would be a 10x squared. And we're ready to subtract. So we'd have first 8 minus 8 is 0. 22 minus 10 is going to give me 12x squared. Drop down our next term, which is a plus 7x. Now, how can we get 4x to get to 12x squared? That's going to be a plus 3x. And then that would make 12x squared. And distribute plus 15x. Do our subtracting. 12x squared minus 12x squared is going to be 0. 7 minus 15 would give me negative 8. So I'd have 7. I take away 15. That brings me down to negative 8. All right. Now, lastly, how could I multiply 4x to get to negative 8x? That's going to be a negative 2. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8x. Negative 2 times 5 would be negative 10. And then we do our subtraction. And the 8x's, the negative 8x's, will cancel out. Negative 4 plus 10 is going to give me positive 6. So that's going to be positive 6. And then I take my remainder. I'm going to put that over my divisor. Positive 6 over 4x plus 5. Now we're ready to type in our answer into Delta Math. And here's how we would do that. You hit 2x, shift 6 to get your power, 2x squared, plus 3x minus 2 plus 6. And then to make 6 into a fraction, hit your fraction, your backslash right next to shift. And then we'll put in our 4x plus 5. So there would be our remainder, 6 over 4x plus 5. So up here, they say q of x. Q means your quotient plus your remainder. And then they use b to represent your dividend. But that's what we're doing. We're doing our quotient. We're doing our remainder over our divisor. And then we hit submit. And they're going to also walk through and show us the process as well. So there would be an example of level 3 polynomial log division, which we will see today, kind of taking that next step about looking at how to write the remainders. So you're now ready for day 2, and you can go ahead and get started, and good luck.